raise the roof, give it up, whatever. We just went through, this is actually perfect timing for this course in particular, because we just went through Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving is all about relationships, and that's why I put Thanksgiving could be this way, or Thanksgiving could be this way. Thanksgiving could be this way because you went in stress-free and the food was good and you weren't worried about the time, you weren't worried about the calories, you weren't angry at your brother this year. Or you could have gone in because your mother-in-law did the same thing she did for the last 10 years and you haven't had the courage to say anything to her and it's driving you wild. Not only that, you've been thinking about it 6 weeks before Thanksgiving, so you were a mess. Yeah? Or some iteration of that story. So how many of you have not gotten a flyer from me before on EFT? All right, good, because I think that's about all I have. It's the back. The front of it's all a promotion, give me money kind of thing. You know, we business people have to. So EFT, emotional freedom techniques, tapping, is a modality that's based on the energy systems of the body. And the energy systems of the body, when somebody says in a woo-woo metaphysical kind of way, and they stand there and they look to the sky and go, it's all about energy, they really are right. They really are right. So your involuntary muscle called breathing, if you had to do that, you'd be dead because you wouldn't remember, okay? You wouldn't. And your heart, what do? Paddles, vroom! 300, clear the table, vroom! Is an energy system. It means that it's circulating your body. Your lymph nodes have no electrical system, so your body has to move in order for your lymph system to work, but it's still about energy. You have over 1 trillion cells in your body, and it's a circulation system based on the pumping of the heart. It's all energy, and that's what EFT is. So when somebody says, you know, I went to a tapping course, they go, one thing that they say around here, is that against God's will? Heart beating, lungs working, so I don't think so. I don't think tapping's in the Bible, but I do believe that touch is in the Bible. Hands-on is in the Bible. So that's what tapping does. I'm not trying to be discourteous to anything, but you know, after a while, it's sort of like people say to me, well, I'm not sure. And I said, well, let's just try it and see if that works for you. Secondly is this, you know, one of those sacrilegious kind of things that you shouldn't do to your body. There's this woo-woo and metaphysical. Well, I don't think so. It came from Eastern medicine based on the acupuncture points in your body, and it's been around for 4,000 or 5,000 years. If you want to know more about it, all the details of EFT, you can go to Lynn Conley. Give it up for Lynn Conley. Hi, honey. You can go to my website, EFT for Women, WOMEN. There's nothing for sale on my site. So I'm not sending you there to sell you anything. I'm sending you there to inform you, because it's my honor to talk about EFT and tapping for women, because it didn't change my life, it saved my life. Didn't change my life, it saved my life. And today is about relationships. And relationships, we did money. We talked all about money. I have the money affirmations here if you want me to make a copy or email it to you. And we did health. I mean, there's all kinds of health stuff. Lynn and I have been doing EFT together for years and years. She was part of the original mastermind group. So she's a chiropractor. She's a holistic trainer. So I'm sure she gets asked about it too. Eva and I have been doing EFT together for the last 2 years, and it has shifted how she perceives her life and how she manages her health, her money, and herself. If there were more of my clients here, they could just keep walking in the door, you don't know. They would tell you the same thing, because what it works on is what you've learned, how you practice and what you've learned. So we want to know about your relationships. There's stuff in between. It doesn't have to be sad or happy. It could be just plain neutral, and neutral keeps you stuck too. So You can see that I am not a graphic artist, but this gives you a little bit of an idea of what EFT is, and it bears reviewing. From 0 to 7, our brain is like a sponge. We really don't have a clear thought of our own, unless you are a prodigy. Say it? Progeny. One of those two. Because we're just soaking it all up. So think about it for a minute. From 0 to 7, who were your main teachers? You were your parents. If you were in the foster program, it was your foster parents. It was could be your older brother or sister. Could be if you're triplets or quadruplets, you learned from them. Could have been your grandma. It could have been your priest, being a Catholic, being raised in a Muslim country. A lot of my teachers were Muslim. It was the culture. It was how women and men interacted together. So your first 7 years is really how the rest of your life is based. Because you sucked it all in here, and this is what you learned. And from 3 to 5 years old was really kind of the first time you realized that maybe it wasn't as magical as you thought it was. That a lot of the sexually abused women and men that I've talked to remember their first touch or look or kind of around 3. 2 isn't a big realization, but you may go back a little further than that. Abandonment. Now, abandonment for a child could be the mom or dad or caretaker left the room for 4 minutes, and that was their first awareness. Or it could have been 4 hours, or it could have been 4 days. Big trauma is that stops us. Little trauma is that what stops us, but not as much. So your trauma and my trauma couldn't be the same, but yours could be big on that subject, and mine could be little. An example of that is a grandma dying. My grandma Emma, when she died, lived in my house since I was 4 years old. She was significant in my life. When she died, it was a huge trauma for me. She was big in my life. You may have a grandma that you've seen twice in your life, or maybe every 4 years you go and see a grandma and she dies, or grandpa, and you say, gosh, that's too bad. And that's a little trauma. The other part of this, too, is no comparisons. No comparisons. Your traumas, your feelings, your experiences are how you view the world. And this is what we call mindset and belief. Mindset and belief. And this is an important aspect of who you are and how you are. Because your mindset and your belief is how you do your whole life. How you do your whole life, all your segments and everything else. Life here is career and finances and relationships and love and health, and this is how you do your whole life. It's based on your belief systems. You learn them from 0 to 7. You first figured out that maybe between 3 and 5 years old, life isn't as perfect as you thought it was. Here's where that began. And for the rest of your life, you're seeing an accumulated mindset and belief based on it's not safe to be in my bed when Uncle Harry is around, and anybody who's an uncle or a man that looks like Uncle Harry, or your relationships with your first male teacher or whatever else, all through your life is based on that experience that you had when you were 3. Your decision-making process and how you deal with relationships is all based here. Pretty scary. Taken me a whole lifetime to figure out that my mom and dad, God bless them, as inept parents as they were, taught me how to be who I am, which was not based on who I am at all. I'm a highly verbal, highly interactive, spizzly person. I think life is wonderful and I like people a lot. Not okay in my family. At all. Military rank. I was the only girl. I was the baby. It's shut up and look good. Shut up and look good. Now, they didn't say that, but every action was that action. And I learned that here. And it colored my whole life. My whole life. Until I got to tapping. Now, tapping does not take away the fact that it happened. It takes away the belief system and the mindset and how you view it. You get to learn that you can unlearn so you can have an awareness and the freedom to choose the life that's most important to you. Listen to that again. This is the most critical aspect of your choice. You get an awareness and the freedom to choose the life that's most important to you. For the first time, you see it through your head. Look at her shaking her head up and down. And it's not hard. But it has been thought of as being pretty woo-woo. March of this year, it was very, very nice. We were all very excited. All of us woo-woos went from over here. Now, I'm pretty conservative. I've been coaching for almost 27 years now. Corporate people, guys, the whole thing. And some of them, when I first started it, I would bring EFT. Now all my clients have to do EFT. They have to do the tapping because it's just so provocative for them and so life-changing. But it was like, they'd want to shut their office door when we did that, or they really didn't discuss it with their spouse. It wasn't like okay. It was okay to do that with Natalie or maybe in a group, but it wasn't like, I do tapping, oh boy. Like, I play golf, oh boy. March. American Society for Psychological something or other. The Association of Psychological Evidence-Based Association, whatever that is. What is it, Lynn? The American Association of Psychological Clinicians. I don't know, whatever it is. It's like the American Medical Association says that EFT and tapping is a medical-based, evidence-based modality. So we moved from woo-woo to maybe insurance even paying for it. VA's got it going on. A lot of places it's going on. A lot of the chiropractors who have taken stuff for years and years and years, and you're not really doctors, have been a part of this movement for a long time. And they're a big part of bringing this in. And other people who've had the courage to do it. So I'm one of the few that does it in this whole area. And I love it because it didn't change my life, it saved my life. So here you go. 0 to 7. Think about all those things that happened. I call it a tipping point. There's a great book on it. But they go in their tipping point from when you're an adult. I can tell you that your behavior, your beliefs, and your mindset are based on what happened a very long time ago. Because here's what you thought, here's what you felt, and everything else was based on that. You cannot know what you do not know. People say to me all the time, I really should have known that. You're right, okay, now you know it. But you cannot know what you do not know. And then when you find out how affected you are by this time in your life where you learned everything and based all other learning on that, all other action on that, then you look at you now and you say, well, no wonder there might be a couple of issues there. And the issues don't all have to be negative. There's lots of positive about tapping. Great stuff about tapping. In fact, when something really cool happens, you just tap it. You just tap it. You just, wow, that's really cool. That's really great. That's really cool. And if you see me in the car and I'm usually doing this. Driving in my car doing it. I don't even know I'm doing it anymore. I'm just tapping. So this could either be really good news for you or really bad news for you right at this moment. I'll just let it settle in for you for a second. Because it cannot be otherwise. You weren't born at 30. You were born at 0. And from a clinician's point of view, you look at 0 to 7. There are no original thoughts unless you're a very unusual child. You are the sponge and you are learning from all those people that are around you. If you wonder, and if you don't like them, that's even more reason why you are like them. Because whatever you resist persists. Write that down. Whatever you resist persists. Because the more you say, I don't have any money, 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 he doesn't love me, he doesn't love me, he doesn't love me, he doesn't love me, I'm not enough, he doesn't love me, I don't have money, he doesn't love me, he doesn't love me, I got betrayed, my boss doesn't like me, my coworker doesn't like me, doesn't like me, doesn't like me. And what do you attract? More of the same. Because in the universal energy of it, you can't have other than what you are attracting. It can't happen. It's the law of the universe. It's like you've met people have this rain cloud over their head, and every time they get near you, it's like, whoa. And you can walk into a family situation like Thanksgiving, if you had a big family, and you walk in the door and go, oh, Ralph is mad again. How do you know that? How do you know that? So this isn't woo-woo. You know it. And you know your own energy. It's like when you're brushing your teeth and you refuse to look in the mirror. You can't look at your own eyes. You got some stuff going on. Look at her and say, I love you anyway. And you know what you're going to happen? Is you're going to have tears. It's okay. Because you're talking to the most important vessel, the most important aspect of your life, and that's you. So, got this? All right. I'm going to give you this and you can go tape it somewhere. Do you mind? She's many things, but she's also Harriet the Taper. So of the relationships and the characteristics of a best and a worst relationship, what is a characteristic of a best relationship? You just think of it now. What's the characteristic of a best relationship? Characteristic of a relationship with Harriet. I'll start us off. Always. Yeah, I'm just talking about relationships. It could be a best relationship, but it's the characteristic, the best in a relationship and the worst in a relationship. So Harriet, she's always on time. She always gives me the correct info. Worst about working with Harriet, steals coats. It's an inside joke. She was nice enough to take my coat last winter back to her office, and I didn't get it back till August. My fault. But the story is based on this, my mindset and belief. She steals coats. So what's the best part of a relationship? What's good in a relationship?
Trust.
Yeah, trust, okay. What else? Forgiveness. Whoa, we just came off of being in a family group setting, didn't we? What else?
I like laughter.
Laughter. Yeah, I do too. Love? Gonna have some of that love. I love love. Love is good. Okay. Thoughtful. Okay, good. So we've got all this stuff going on. I mean, it's just, do you agree? Anybody disagree with what's been put up there so far? Okay. So we all pretty much agree. I mean, you can see a good relationship. You can feel a good relationship. You can see it on TV. You can see it in a book. So you can, I mean, there's a lot about good in a relationship that you can see. So what's worse? What's a terrible thing in a relationship? I can't do this over here. I can't really. Abusive. Overbearing. Now, okay, this is going to tell you a little bit about where they've come from in their relationships. Go for it. What else is bad about a relationship? Betrayal. This is a key one in my life, coming from here, from what I learned. Abandonment and betrayal. Betrayal. What else?
There's abandonment up there.
Amanda didn't have an E in the middle? I'm going to put one in. Okay. You can't read it anyway. Who cares?
Dishonesty?
Dishonesty.
Yeah, I was going to say lying, but that's better.
We like it. Lying is good. We're going to put lying. We're going to lying. Lying. You liar. You liar! Whew! Not listening. That is huge for we women. You're not listening. One of the worst things that you can say if your partner is male, we need to talk.
Yes, it is.
It is the worst thing you can say. Don't ever say that to your male partner ever again. Don't say that. Because for them, what happens is they get heart arrhythmia. Gas starts to build. And they try and think of all the things they did wrong. It is not positive. They know it's not going to be positive, and they know it's going to be long. It's going to be a long time. It will ramble. Okay? It will ramble. It will cover all offenses for the last 5 minutes, 5 years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever else. It can't be, you know what, honey, I want to talk to you about the golf trip that I planned for your birthday. And that is not in their head. That is not in their head. Don't ever say that again, because that is a statement. And because when they say to us, we have to talk about that again, that's our thing of, now, what you need to understand about you as a woman, and if you haven't gotten this yet, I'll give you an opening. We find out our opinions on things and how we feel by talking about them. Guys don't. They're all done. They have no idea why you're talking about your sister again. Thought they already solved that. Thought they already listened to it and everything. And I have told guys, I said, if you really want to have great sex or great food or anything else, you just go like this. You go, really? Tell me more about that. You look deeply into, why are you laughing? Because they don't do that. Because we say we need to talk, and they go the other way. And then they go in their cave, and they get scared and everything else. Not listening is so key to us. Talk to girls, okay? Don't do it to the guys. They don't think like us. They don't feel like us. If you want a good book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. It has been updated. John Gray, Gray, wonderful guy. His daughter, who is now in her late 20s or early 30s, has gone into the business too. So he must have been pretty good. When your child follows you in business, you know you're pretty good. So here are our characteristics, right? And there's lots and lots and lots more, right? Okay. What if you had something that could shift the moment? Not shift your whole life, but just shift the moment. That creep, if he does it again, I'm talking to you now, we're talking, if that creep does that to me again, I am going to leave him, kill him. He does that to me all the time. I can't believe it. I cannot believe that this, and there goes your energy. And your energy system is doing this thing, and your whole body knows. Every cell in your body knows that you're angry. Every cell in your body, and you reignite where that came from and where you learned. And all you're doing is underlining it, underlining it, underlining it. So we find out where that comes from. So Natalie, why are you so upset? I'm not upset. And you ask the question, and you get to the question, and you find out, can you remember the first time that might have happened? Oh yeah, I was in college. Oh yeah, I was in it. So what happened? And you have that conversation, so what happened in college? And so you were really upset about that in college. So was there anything else? And you begin, it's almost like regressive therapy, but not really. And you can handle it at different ages. But it almost always comes back to something from here. And it may not look or sound like the same thing. But I wasn't allowed to talk. I just had to sit there and look good. And that's how I got my family to look at me. And I did everything the opposite after that. So somebody not listening to me now as an adult relationship is abandonment. There's lack of love. There's no caring there. It's dissing my entire life because that's what I learned. Until I started doing tapping and found out that's my stuff. It's not your stuff. And somebody not listening could be they can't hear me. It's an inappropriate time to bring it up for the 87th time. I'm not caring where they are, but when you're in this place, you actually don't care because you're so needy to be cared for. And all you have is more evidence. I have more evidence. It's not listening, it's not listening, not listening, not listening, and you're not listening. The boss isn't listening, my mother doesn't listen. And so your whole life is about it's not enough and nobody's listening. And nobody can get through that because they're not really sure, they're not dealing with this moment, they're dealing with those moments. So there's a deep, deep, deep love in EFT too, in the tapping. And you're thinking, hey, this is really too simple to do all of that. Yeah, okay. All right. So who's difficult? Who's difficult? Who's going for mom? Just shout it out. One for mom. Who else? Any other moms? Two other moms. How about dad? Any dads? Oh, I would put one down for dad. No dads? Wow, okay. Dad is good. Brother? Yes, brother. Anybody else brother? No other brothers? I'll put one for brother for me. I don't have any sisters except sisters of choice, so all my sisters are great. Any sister stuff? Yes! Yes, 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 yes! We got 4 sisters. Daggum them sisters. Whew! Spouse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Okay? Good, good. Partner. Any partner stuff going on in here? Okay. Boss. Got 2 bosses? Boss? Anything else? 3 bosses? Coworker. Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, down. Down, 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 down. Down, 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 blah, blah, blah. Fill in those words. Girlfriends? Girlfriends driving you crazy? No, 1? Any other? Okay. 1. Boyfriends? Male friends? Boyfriends? Or if you're having an affair. Fine with me. Any boyfriends? No boyfriends? Former? Got to put an on there. Former. You name it. Anything that's missing from this list that should be on there? Former friend, priest, minister, cab driver.
Talking to somebody that we know that is difficult, whether that we interact with them or not. Yeah, I've got a former girlfriend.
Oh, okay. Former girlfriend.
Probably.
So do you want me to mark here?
No, because they're not a girlfriend anymore.
Former girlfriend. Okay. Anyone else? Anything?
Yeah.
Former girlfriend, what? Okay. Got another one there? Anybody former?
Boss.
Boss? Boss? Boss. Okay, we got a lot of boss in here. 1, 2, 3. Boss. In-laws. Any issues on in-laws? You're lying. You're lying. In-laws. Anybody else? No? Okay. Relatives in particular, aunts, uncles. No.
Because, and you know, they're not so difficult to me, they're just difficult to each other.
Does that make that difficult?
You're out on the periphery and you watch their craziness.
But you choose not to be inside of it.
Yeah, and I'm just...
Yeah, and the problem with that is because here's...
They tell you about stuff that you don't need to
Listen, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah. Don't involve me. May do a little tapping on that, huh? Because if our best relationship is, you know what? You can tape this underneath that if you want. If our best relationship is trust and forgiveness, what's Harriet doing? Wait a minute, we gotta write this down here. Judging. Okay.
That's a good one.
All right.
Yeah, I just brought the
There you
answer.
go.
Yeah, pretty
All
good.
right.
Just call it like I see it. You can call it judging all you want to.
Righteousness? So this is, Harriet is a plant. So we've got all of this, okay? Now you're going to learn about EFT. If you don't, we can edit this out if you don't want to be on camera and stuff like that, but I'd like you to tap. And here's the deal. It's very easy to do. I just want you to watch what I'm doing, and then we'll do it together. There's what's called the setup statement, and we call it the karate chop spot. It's also on your piece of paper, so you can do either hand. Doesn't make any difference. Okay? Like that. Whatever's most comfortable. And we do 3 setup statements. Okay? And then we'll do that, and you'll hear me, and then you'll see me switch. And then we move to the eyebrow, the end of your eyebrow, edge of your eyebrow, right there. 2 fingers, please. 2 fingers. Either side. As a matter of fact, if you ever go onto YouTube and you look at some of the tapping on there, and there's lots that you can go and see, and it's wonderful stuff, wonderful. You'll find your personality, your people on there. Margaret Lynch, she's tough, man. She's tough. She's a tough rod. And then there's Brad Yates, who's just such a nice gentleman. Then there's Carol Look, who's very conservative. So you can go on YouTube and find any of those people, and you'll tap and find that easy for them. So 2 fingers, you can do 3. Don't do a whole hand. 2 or 3 fingers, and you're tapping on your eyebrow, side of your eye. Side of your eye, under your eye. I'd like you to move that down just a little bit so you don't feel like you're going to touch your eye. Under your nose. We call this chin. Call this collarbone. It's really right about there. If you can't find it, just do your whole fist right in the center. Collarbone. Under the arm. Now you can do across if you'd like instead, or under, whatever's most comfortable for you. And then we're going to come up to the chakra on top, and we don't want to do fingers because this is your crown chakra, and your crown chakra gets very offended, so we want to do hands. Just hands like that, okay? So we do 3 setup statements, and then we go through. So here's what we're going to decide. And we have to find out from 0 to 10. 0 means, it doesn't affect me at all, I don't really care, to 10 or above, like, I can really feel that. Whoa, I can really feel that. And then I want to know where you're feeling it. I want to know where in your body you're feeling it. Okay? So, here we go. Harriet, I'm going to put you up one more time and then we're done with you. Thanks, darling. So, based on what we decided here, co-workers was the... Okay, can everybody see it over here? We decided that co-workers was a big deal to us, and that was the most. We also have moms up there, and what was the other one? Sisters. Sisters got 4. Spouse, co-worker, and so we got spouse. Sister. And what's the other? Co-workers. Okay, so those are...
Relatives also seem to be a pretty big...
Okay, relatives and sisters are about the same thing. Okay. How many people want to work on spouse? Raise your hand, please. Nobody wants to work on spouse? 1, 2 people want to work on spouse? Why did it get so many? So if you voted that spouse is an area that's kind of like, is the most difficult in a relationship. Okay, we're going to go to the safer one, which is a sister. Not everybody has a sister. How about coworkers? Let's do coworkers. Everybody feels safe with coworkers. So on coworkers, what's an issue with a coworker? What drives you crazy with a coworker? Jealous? What else? Like that. Yeah, see, now we're going to get into it. You go, girl. Slacker. Inconsiderate. Inconsidered. Inconsiderate? Is that right? Who cares? It's close enough.
Vindictive.
Woo. You all need to get a new job.
I did.
Anything else? Anything else?
Passive-aggressive.
Passive-aggressive? Yeah, that one is... Because the only thing that does to me is make me really aggressive.
Makes you change departments.
Makes you change departments. Okay. So can we all agree that this is pretty clear? Okay. And who said vindictive? Okay. Say out loud, my coworkers are vindictive.
My coworker is vindictive.
Is vindictive. Okay.
She's not my coworker.
Is or was?
She was. She's not my coworker now. Thank God.
Okay. Let's see where you are right now on this. My coworker was vindictive. Say it.
My coworker was vindictive.
And on a scale of 0 to 10, how badly does it bother you?
Now it's like a 4. Then it was like a 12.
Okay, we'll do a 12. Let's go back to the 12 then, all right? Because you had to move because of it, right?
Yeah.
And when you say my coworker is vindictive, say it again, please.
My coworker is vindictive.
Where do you feel that? Ooh.
In the pit of my stomach.
In the pit of your stomach. Pit of my stomach. Pit of my stomach. Okay, nice. And it was a 12. Okay. Who said slacker? You said slacker. My coworker is a slacker.
My coworker is a slacker.
Okay, and what is that for you? On a scale of 0 to 10, what is it?
A 9.
A 9, okay. Good. Inconsiderate, who said that?
That's your arrows.
Hmm?
Well, was vindictive.
Sorry. Somebody's watching. Who said inconsiderate? You said inconsiderate? My coworker is inconsiderate.
My coworker is inconsiderate.
Where do you feel that?
Like right here.
Yeah, in your heart. I would have almost said that because you're very caring. You're a very supportive and very caring person. And what is that? What's the level of it?
8.
Okay. We got vindictive, passive aggressive. Who said that?
That was a former coworker.
Yeah, okay. My coworker is passive aggressive.
My coworker was passive-aggressive.
Okay. What is it? Where'd you feel it?
In my throat.
Okay. And what was it?
Probably a 20.
Okay. 20. And Eva, you said jealous?
It was a 10, but after tapping for a year on it,
Okay.
we're down to a 9.
All right. So
No, honestly, it's probably about a 2 or 3.
even though my coworkers make me crazy, I accept how I feel. And even though my coworkers are far from perfect, I choose to love and accept who I am. And even though my coworkers are just sometimes, I accept who I am and how I feel. I hate it when they're jealous. We're going on the eyebrow first, side of the eye. I cannot stand slackers. Under the eye. Coworkers that are inconsiderate make me crazy. Under the nose. And when they're vindictive, that is bad. And when they're passive aggressive, that's even worse. Collarbone. Sometimes I'm jealous of them. Under the arm, and I don't like that. Top of the head. Sometimes I want to be a slacker. And I don't like that. Sometimes I want to be vindictive. But that's not really me. And sometimes I am very inconsiderate. And thank goodness it's only in my head. My coworkers are a mess. I have a lot of judgment about this. I'm right, you know. I'm right. They're wrong. They're wrong. Deep breath. Now what I want you to do is I want you to open this up right here. Or just put your arm out, way out, like this. Take a big breath and just bring it on in and just relax, like that. Nice. I would like you to say what your original statement was about your coworkers. Say it again, right out loud. Yours was, yeah?
Coworker was vindictive.
Where do you feel that now?
I don't.
My coworker was vindictive, was what? It was a 12. Go back to that time. My coworker is vindictive, because that was your statement. My coworker is vindictive.
My coworker is vindictive.
Okay. Where do you feel it?
I feel like my heart more now than I did.
Okay, and what's the number?
It's probably like a 2.
Yeah. Eva. My coworker is jealous.
My coworker is jealous.
Where do you feel it?
Just a little bit above the heart.
Okay, in the heart?
My throat, but right there.
Yeah, right in this area.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's about a 2. It's still there.
I don't believe you.
Why?
Look at her face. I don't believe you. But I don't think it's jealous so much anymore. I think the word jealous is probably not accurate for you anymore. Because I think you've handled that. What is it? What has it been substitute with? Because here's your face. This is what you were doing. Yeah, it's a 2 now. It's a 2 now. You walk into a room and you go, I wonder why Harvey's feeling that way. You can feel it. You can see it. So what is it? It's not jealous. It's they're inconsiderate. Can't they get it now? I mean, what's going on there?
They can't get it, you're right, because they can't get past their own, what they think I am. They can't get past that.
Or it could be,
Gets the or.
or I can't get past what I think they're thinking. Say that.
Yeah, I can't get past what I think they're thinking.
There you go. So you got to find out what it really is. And what is that? There you go. Okay. I can't get past what I'm really thinking. It's not them anymore. It isn't them anymore. She is having the issue. And that usually what is the biggest problem anyway. It's us that's creating it. So that's good. So now you know that. So you can take that to the next tapping. Slacker. Who's slacker? Slacker. Okay. My coworker is a slacker.
My coworker is a slacker.
Okay. Tell me what the level is.
3 maybe.
Mm-hmm. Where do you feel it?
Just below my, whatever that bone, set of bones is, just right there.
That's your collarbone. When it goes into your heart, there's a lot of things about the heart that are very, very important to you. We are heart-centered as women. And when you go into your heart, on the negative side, it's a hurt for you. And when we're hurt, we don't listen well. We don't take care of ourselves well. When it comes back and it becomes like a 2 or a 3 in your heart, it means you're reconnected. You're really, really reconnected to your essence. And your essence is just such a beautiful thing. You may not think so, but it is. To be heart-centered on that. So that's excellent. That just goes to show you that you have the ability to do this. And inconsiderate. Who's inconsiderate? Okay. Tell me, say, my coworkers are inconsiderate.
My coworkers are inconsiderate.
Mm-hmm. What's the level?
Maybe 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm. 3, 4? Nice. And where do you feel it? Yeah. You're a heart-centered person anyway, aren't you? You're a sweetie pie, yeah. If everybody in the room, and I love all of you and everything else, but if I want a sweetie pie, I'm going to this one right here. This is a sweetie pie. She's very heart-centered, she's very caring, and that's where the first hurt happens. So when you start doing your tapping, I really want you to go to EFT for women, because I've got 4 audios on there that are just nice to do. They're just very calming, they're very sweet and everything else, and it gets you into the rhythm. It's got all the history. I think that you'll find that heart-centered there, because everything breaks your heart, and it doesn't need to. Doesn't need to. And we did vindictive? Mm-hmm. And passive-aggressive? Is this the same person? No. Okay. My coworker is passive-aggressive. My coworker is passive-aggressive.
My coworker was passive-aggressive.
Yeah. Well, what? And where is it now?
It's about the same place.
About the same place? So what's the deal? The fact that they're passive-aggressive isn't the problem, is that you didn't approve of them, you're very judgmental of them, they ought to change, they're making more money than you. What's the deal?
The last one.
Okay, more money. All right, so see, I do this, and I've been doing this for a lot of years. When something doesn't go down, it means it's not what the issue is. So it has nothing to do with passive-aggressive, it has to do with money. And I would think there's probably some disrespect there too. You make more money than me, you're an idiot, you don't do very well, and I don't respect you, yeah?
And I was doing more work.
More work, okay, more work. So that's why this is so good when you're doing it, is just take a look at it. When we first started in our masterminds, Lynn was in the original mastermind. Do you know that that's 5 years now? Isn't that amazing? Neither one of us have aged at all. In our masterminds, what we first started to do is we wrote things down. So let's just say the person that's driving you crazy is Louise. And you really want to work on your tapping. Take a piece of paper and put Louise. And all the things that are driving you crazy about Louise. She's dirty, she's smelly, she's never on time, she's whatever those things are. And then even though Louise makes me angry, and do that 3 times, I accept who I am and how I feel. All of this is on that sheet of paper and on the website. You don't have to do it on your own. And then you go, and Louise stinks, and she hurts me, she's always in my face, she has more money than I am, she never shows me respect, all those different things, and you test. You started out with a 12, and our scale is 0 to 10, by the way. But if it's over that, or it's a 20, come back in again and repeat the same statement. Louise is, horrible in my life, and test where it is, because something is going to shift. And the reason it's going to shift is your vessel, your essence here wants badly to have an awareness and the freedom to choose the life that's most important to you. And here's where it all started.
So you talked about the heart and how that fit in, but I said pit of my stomach. So
Yeah.
what does that mean?
Pit of your stomach is a very low chakra. It's a very low energy area. It means that it's really important to you. It's on the basis of pretty much everything that you do. And if you feel it there, it's big for you. Really, really big for you. Having a hard time getting over it. You don't feel equal to the person. See, as soon as you start moving it up here, it's more possible. When it's down here, it's very young, out of control, has to do with elimination, has to do with sex and everything else. And all of that is, that's really basis down here. So when you feel it in the pit of your stomach, it's usually not, I'm going to go handle it.
Yeah.
It's like,
She
please.
was a good friend before all this.
And that's even worse.
And then she became a supervisor. And
Yep.
when she became a supervisor, it was very different. And so it was hurtful. It was really hurtful. So
Well, I would say,
now when I talk with her or I have interaction with her, it's almost like I feel sorry for her.
you need to,
Because it was like, I feel more compassionate now about her than I did.
yeah, but you still need to tap it.
Yeah.
Because it's still there.
Yeah.
Anything that you've got that's going on from a little bitty kid, because learning how to be heart-centered and where you are. See, there's personality, there's behavioral style. It was where you were born, it's your gender, who was in your family, what is your, where are you living, south versus, living in Minnesota. If you're living in Louisiana and Minnesota, it's 2 different things. It's like 2 different worlds. There's a lot of different things that are going on. So it isn't just, as simple as this, is where did you come from and where were you when you were learning this stuff? Because if you were in Louisiana and you go up to Minnesota and you become a high-powered manager up there, you've got a whole relearning to do. Whole relearning. So there's a love that goes on within this too. And the reason I say it didn't just shift my life, it saved my life, is when my mom conceived me, she did not want me. And I listened for 9 months to not being wanted. I'm too tired, I do not want this child. We do not want this child, I don't want this child. And I heard that in utero, because that's who I am and that's how sensitive I am. And then when I was born, there are no stories of me being born, there's no pictures of me. None. And the fact that I was a girl was so bad. And so dealing with all of that at a very, very deep level, and going until I was 7 years old in a Muslim country where women were nothing. You were not allowed to do that. I thought the whole world was that way. I didn't realize it was the religion. It was my view, and everything was a rank. So that, the lessons I learned as being in this body and being who I am, was absolutely wrong. So I was a wrong gender, and I was not allowed to speak. And I had to learn that I could unlearn so I could learn, so I had the awareness and the freedom to choose the life that's most important to me. And that's why tapping's so good. And do you ever run out of stuff to tap? You don't, because here's the positive stuff. Here's the positive stuff. And if you'd follow me now. I'm so glad ETSU offers this. I may never have learned it otherwise. And I get to join these other women that are as confused as I am, that are lifelong learners, and took their time to spend time together. And here we are. Deep breath. So it doesn't all have to be negative. There could be wonderful stuff too, because I remember my first bicycle that I earned by picking apples. It was a blue Schwinn. And I tapped that. And bring that, because Wayne Dyer says, if you don't like the life you had, change it. Because how you view it is not necessarily how it was. You were a little bitty, and your parents, think of them, this is legacy stuff, who were their parents, and who were their parents? How were they supposed to learn? How are they supposed to be different? So I shifted from hating my parents and being unappreciated and betrayed and abandoned to admiring what they did based on their limited ability to parent.
Reminds me of a quote I read one time that said, it's never too late to be the parent to yourself you never had.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And they were alcoholic, and they were this, and they were, they were all those things. And yet they didn't ever live up to what I wanted in parents, and nor did their parents, and nor did their parents. I mean, this didn't just start with your dumb parents. You know what I mean? It's seriously, if we really think about it, so it's like my parents could have done better. I understand that. I get that. They could have done better. And now I know that. And now I forgive them. And now I can see what they really did. And I can see the consistency. And I can see when I had a hard time. And when my dad finally showed up when I was 17. And all those things. I can take in and make a life for me that really were the things that I was given, rather than spending the rest of my life in God blessed because what view do I then have of this world? Is all of you are a pain in the neck, and I'm right. And it's very distancing, and I choose again to then be abandoned and disrespected and unwanted. Whatever you whatever you resist will persist. It will always be that way. And when you open yourself up, it's magical. If you'd like some help, I'd love to help you with this. It is my honor to be here and to present this and to share this with you. I also have a handout for you if you'd like, but I really, really, really would like you to go to the website and just spend a little bit of time at the website. It's a magical place, and it is my commitment to the women of the world to not only shift their lives, to create an awareness and have the freedom to choose the life that's really most important to you and that you deserve, because you're incredible, incredible people. Big clapping, the camera's on.